Actually, if I have to explain the title Cartoon News, then I apologize, because it should be pretty self-explanatory. But basically, it's everything that has happened in the past week in animation. Every studio happening, everyone who got fired, every movie that has failed at the box office, or any new movies coming up now, all of that is covered here, and it's just our way to recap everything that's been going on, so we can stay on top of it, as it were. Are we cool? We are cool. Awesome. And you guys get to be in on the conversation, because the chat down there gets to, you know, comment in on everything going on. So, and we get to make silly comments, which are, you know, awesome, because we like riffing on everything. It is the advent of our entire society. So, we're back! We are finally back. So, let's finally get started again. We are, let's say, September 11th, somber occasion. And this week's cartoon news is also very somber because we got a lot of bad stories this week. Not a lot of good things, and even the things that are considered good are only maybe good in a slight sense. You still mix a bad angle off of it, but I suppose I'm reading too far into it. So let's start from the very beginning. What's the first bad thing going on here? Okay, the first story is not entirely bad. It's kind of baffling, as it were. So DreamWorks is making movies, as they do, and they've decided that they're going to be making a new movie with Tim Minchin. I'll say this name again, Tim Minchin. Now, if you don't know who this guy is, that's okay. You will find out soon enough. Basically, who he is the guy who he's a stage performer who uses a lot of profanity, a lot of religious slurring, or slandering, sorry. Basically, not the kind of guy who you'd want to be making a cartoon for kids about. And it kind of baffles me that DreamWorks has decided to make a movie with this guy. And so they're making a musical, as you do, because it's DreamWorks, that is set in Australia and is entirely about this creature called the Larrikin, which is this creature that I'm not entirely sure what it is entirely, but they're making a musical about it, and we have a release date for it now. Set your schedule, set your planner for January 25th, 2018, because that is when this movie is going to be coming out in theaters. And again, this just kind of baffles me a little bit here, because this just seems like a combination. You have a George Carlin-worthy musical act working with the guys who made How to Train Your Dragon to make a movie about an Australian animal? That's something I've never seen before, so maybe it'll be good? I don't know. Again, it's just baffling, but it's not bad news, so that's totally okay. What is slightly bad news, although again, this is not entirely bad news. It's unfortunate, as it were, but it's not bad news. Just it requires a little bit of patience on everyone's part, but we can get over it. So, How to Train Your Dragon 2 is the most successful anime film of the entire year. Just completely blew everything else out of the water. Apparently they're not counting Frozen, because I know a lot of Frozen's profits were made in the year 2014, but I guess they count that as a 2013 film, so oh well. But anyways, How to Train Your Dragon 2 did really well. We're getting more of it. We are getting more How to Train Your Dragon. Unfortunately, we have to wait a little while. A while back, DreamWorks had said that How to Train Your Dragon 3, they are planning it that far out, will be coming in 2016. Not anymore! No more, no more. We are getting it, but it's going to be pushed all the way back to June 9th, 2017. Can we wait that long? No, we cannot. We can't. No, we get big thumbs up for good sequels. We get thumbs down for having to wait for too long. And Lilac is back in the chat, just in time to hear about how we have to wait for more How to Train Your Dragon, which is it is depressing. Now, I suppose in a world that advocates for less sequels because we seem to have a stigma against them, it's okay that we wait a little while for the sequel. But this is a franchise that I am okay with sequels of more of. Like, I'm trying to think of one that I'm not a fan of. Despicable Me. I don't really care that they're giving the Minions their own movie. Madagascar. I'm okay with them giving the Penguins their own movie, but that's okay. I'm not thrilled about it though. Like, I'm not going to be waiting in line to get the first tickets for it. How to Train Your Dragon, though, that is something that I will be getting tickets for, that I will be first in line to see, because it will be amazing. Provided they keep the same quality, it will be amazing! Now, even if they dip down in a few scales of quality, it will still be miles above most of their films that are getting sequels, but... so we have to wait, basically. I know, it's just a lot of rage out of one little bit of information, but ah well. Ah well, indeed. We may very well be getting another Kung Fu Panda movie, because Jack Black needs the paycheck. But it's okay, because you don't have to worry about those kind of movies getting sequels, because they will get sequels. Speaking of sequels, here's where our really bad news gets in. We're tiptoeing around the bad news, now we're diving right into it. Okay, so The Legend of Korra, which we all know and either are okay with, or ranges all the way down to why does this even exist, to I love to riff the heck out of this show, or you're just like Brainchild and you're like, meh, whatever. Anyways, so the whole franchise has been increasingly given less and less attention from Nickelodeon. It's kind of been beaten to death, as it were. I mean, really, you could have stopped at the end of the first book of Korra and maybe got some new characters, or no, more specifically, got a new setting, as it were. The setting was a little worn out, but anyways, I'm getting off track here, as I do. The Legend of Korra is going to be coming out on digital release, basically. It's going to be online, and it is going to be coming out this October. To put that in perspective, the finale of Season 3 came out just a couple of months ago. Now, traditionally, you need to wait quite a while for the next season of something to come out, especially in an animated series, like Avatar all by itself, for example. There was a bit of a gap between the first season and the second season. Not so much between the second and third season, but they still had a whole summer gap to wait for it. Nickelodeon has decided that they want to get this out there as fast as possible, just get rid of it as fast as they can, and they are releasing it October 3rd. Only a couple of months after the third season had ended. Like, I think it's like barely 2 months, as it were. That's not good, because you need time to make a good show. So if you're rushing it like this, the writing's going to be weak, the animation's going to be clunky, the whole show is just going to be not very good. Not very good at all. And you could be just like Mex and just play the game that I've been hearing about, but of course I have no interest in playing because I don't play video games because I'm just too good for that. Ha 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 ha. I apologize. So yeah, the saddest thing about this is that we heard about this information about the whole digital platform release, releasing it super quick. We heard about this from a promotional video from the show's creators. And the video that they put out is just, you know, them in front of a camera being filmed. They sound so disinterested in what's going on. It's like someone is standing off screen with a sniper rifle telling these guys to read the cue cards or else, just to tell everyone, hey, Korra, Season 4, coming out soon. It's gonna be awesome. I'm not even over-exaggerating. That is how soured of a relationship they basically have had with all of Nickelodeon, just kind of, you know, beating this franchise into the ground. Like, some things can sustain being beaten into the ground. SpongeBob can have hundreds of episodes, 2 movies now, and still keep going because it's SpongeBob. I mean, how much more can you beat? Avatar was up there on the peak of cartoon greatness, and you brought it all the way down and are kicking it more into the ground. They're like, you can't see my foot, but I'm kicking a dead cartoon, as it were. Further proving our theory that Nickelodeon can't do anything right. They don't know how to pitch new shows. They basically pick random people, let them make a pilot, turn it into a cartoon, and pray that it will be successful. I don't think I have to mention breadwinners to anyone. I think we're trying to get rid of that from our memory banks, because it needs to be gone. So yes, so we need to get rid of that altogether. So Nickelodeon needs fresh blood. Nickelodeon needs to restructure. Nickelodeon needs a reality check, or at the very least, Nickelodeon needs a break. Like, would we be okay if Nickelodeon just went off the air for 1 year, just 1 year, to take a break, to rethink their structure? I don't think anyone would be sorry about that. Everyone would be supportive of that, as it were. So that's what I'm saying. Nickelodeon, take a break. Just take a break. You deserve a break. You take a vacation. Come back when you're feeling better. No more breadwinners. No more rabbit invasions. No more of this Decora. Stop doing it. Leave the poor girl alone. But as sad as that is not the worst news of the night. Oh, no. No, we are now getting into... I can't even think of a snappy metaphor for this, but we are getting into the thick of it all, folks. So, are you ready? Are you ready for the worst news of the night? Okay. There's this little movie called Food Fight. You may have heard of it. It is a terribly CGI animated movie that features a lot of product placement. It's like they take the characters from commercials and animate them. Okay, so that movie is terribly animated, weirdly sexual, it's got a furry fetish to it, badly voice acted, and it cost a lot of money to make for something that's not really that good. Okay, so no, it's not getting a sequel, don't worry, yet. But, something nearly as bad. Okay, Universal Pictures was supposed to be one of the, the big five of not animation studios, of movie studios, of Hollywood studios, are basically buying the company that made Food Fight, what's it called again? It's called Threshold Animation, and commissioning them to make more movies. Why? Why would you do that? I do have a theory, I kind of have a theory, and this comes back to Nickelodeon. You know how Nickelodeon gave Amazing Orange and Fred two highly view-heavy YouTube series, yet critically terrible web series, and gave them their own TV show because they thought that it would boost Nickelodeon's ratings, without understanding that the reason they were getting views was more out of morbid curiosity and not actual entertainment, I assume. Maybe you like Fred more than I do. Maybe you thought Amazing Orange was the pinnacle, the creme de la creme of comedy. I tended to think it wasn't, but what do I know? I'm not in the industry. I kind of think this is something similar to that, with Universal buying, or basically hiring the studio who made Food Fight to make more movies. They saw all this attention was getting to Food Fight, because it was a huge attention, it was getting all the attention. Like The Room, basically The Room of animation. And so they thought, maybe we can profit off this. We can piggyback off of it, this is what the kids like. Let's get into this. So maybe we can, get in on this and make it our own. Or at least make a quick buck off of it. Because they want to use Threshold Animation to make direct-to-video movies for them, basically. No, not even basically, entirely. So Universal teaming up with the guys who made Food Fight to make straight-to-video movies because Disney's not doing it for us anymore, unless you buy the Tinkerbell movies. That's what we've got to look forward to. And yeah, like Rob said, how much money would they blow through if a major studio was backing them up if they spent as much as they did on Food Fight and it wasn't even released until about 10 years after it was actually completed? This is gonna be hilarious. I mean, I'm thinking, I'm imagining in my head, I'm imagining those kind of, those import films that are trying to rip off successful DreamWorks or Pixar movies at the time, you know what this is called, it's called, what's it called? Someone help me out here. It's where you're piggybacking off of them. It's, I want to say waterboarding or something, but that's not the term. But anyways, you're trying to get profit from someone else's hard work, as it were. So yeah. Some men can't be bought with riches. Some cartoons just want to watch the world burn. And burn it will. No, mockbuster isn't the word I'm thinking of, but that's a pretty good term for it anyway, so thanks for that word. No, it's not catching it. I will think of it by the end of this report. I will think of it. And so that's the bad news. That's all the bad news. So we must have something good to come out of this, right? Some final news to end it off and good news to end us off. Well, not entirely. Well, okay, this is kind of good. Alright, the final story for the night has to do with redemption. Not revenge, redemption. If you've been following the news of Hollywood animation recently, there has been a conspiracy revealed recently. It's basically Pixar, Disney, Lucasfilm, Sony, DreamWorks, the big animation Hollywood studios, all agreeing on a fixed wage, as it were. They call it a conspiracy, but it's more like a, what's the word I'm looking for here? It's more like a scam, really. And they've been doing this for years. They have been fixing wages of animators, animators, people working in the animation industry, to limit their profits, because, you know, help their own profits, take away from the guys actually making the cartoons. Okay, so this has been brought to the news recently, and there's been testimonies from the vice president of Pixar, of Lucasfilm, of Sony, like, everyone kind of basically admitting that they were in on this, and it's illegal. Like, you may think, oh, they're the bosses, they can pick their rates and wages. No, this is very much illegal, you can't do this. So, to redeem that, our news for the night is that there is finally being a lawsuit filed against all these companies. This is one huge, big lawsuit. Like, we're talking, what am I thinking of here? Aaron Brockovich level of trying to get back what was taken away from them. Like, imagine you went to school for animation, you worked hard at it, you did what you were told, you were good at it, and you were not compensated for the hard work that you did. That is why we have the unions, Itchy. Although there has been very ugly histories of animation unions and the industry kind of clashing heads with everyone. But anyways, the point is that finally we're getting a little retribution for this, so that's why I call it good news. But it's still another chapter in this saga going on, which I haven't gotten a chance to talk about because we just kickstarted Cartoon News off again, but it's been bad, guys. This is something you don't want revealed. Like I said, this is Aaron Brockovich, poisoned water, sick, dying, cancer kids kind of level of you just don't do this. But they do. They think they can get away with this, so why stop? And I guess I should probably talk to Ed Catman, or what is it, the vice president of Pixar, or any of the other people involved in this. Maybe they had a good reason for withholding proper wages. Maybe they couldn't afford that 6th beach house. Who knows? But anyways, we're finally getting some revenge. Best served sued, as it were. Sue everyone. Welcome to America, where we sue the living hell out of everyone. Or we do, but I think in this case we can probably side with the people who are doing the suing here. So, that is the news of this day, and I wish I had better news to say on the first time we kickstart Cartoon News 2.0 or 5.0 or 6.1 or 6.1 surround sound, as it were. I don't have good news for you, but maybe if we stick to this path, like we just persevere, we can have good news later. Maybe Song of the Sea will win the Academy Award for Best Picture. Not Best Cartoon Picture, Best Picture. Because I swear, if Song of the Sea does not win the Oscar, I am going to start flipping tables. You can quote me on that. So that will be my good news. Sue everyone! Yay!